Okay, so very good afternoon to all of you. We'll try to understand today the physical concept, actually how the mathematical formulations and related the idea about the reservoir and the reservoir surroundings, the physical nature, how well test could help us to understand that. Okay, so we have discussed earlier, well test is done either in a single well or with the help of multiple well. So what we do in a well, we allow a well to flow or we close a well and try to understand how the pressure pulses actually moves from there and how with time we record the pressure. And that pressure value is very important because the pressure actually giving us certain idea about the physical nature of that specific area. So I'll discuss one part. If you see, when we start taking production from a well, so you will see in this graph, so the pressure pulses move away from the well and it will slowly pass to the whole reservoir and then reach to the boundary. And the pressure pulses recorded with time will give us actually in terms of the physical nature, in terms of flow behavior. So our role as a geoscientist is to understand this physical nature with the help of the well testing. So we may test in a single well, we can use the multiple well to understand the communications or the in between reservoir characteristics, so that we can plan in our modeling also. Okay, so the dynamic as well as static geological modeling of the reservoir. So this is what the main important part is involved with the well testing. Now if you see what is happening, once let's say left side we have our well, so once you start taking production, you see the pressure pulses. That means initially at 0.01 hours you can see the pressure pulses moved up to that point. Okay, so this is actually from well to a distance in logarithmic approximation. Okay, so this is what is there. So it's a 110 this is distance from the center of wellbore. So now with time what is happening, the pressure pulses is moving right from the wellbore to away from the wellbore. So as your time progresses. Okay, so as production continues, the pressure transient continues to move through the reservoir until it has reached all the boundaries of the reservoir. So with time what is happening, so when it is from here to boundary, it appears to you the reservoir is infinitely acting. That means whatever production or maybe build up we are doing it, the support may be equally right from the from the boundary of your skin to the outer boundary of the reservoir. So that is how we are getting the response. And what is that response? It is in terms of pressure. If I just give a simple idea, so left side the demarcation, this is a well. Okay, so we are taking a production from the well. So initially the production is from the well bore inside. So whatever we are taking out, if I consider a drawdown only, so initially it will be removing, or the fluid will be removing from the well bore itself. Okay, then it will reach the sand phase, the perforation, then the flow will be from the reservoir itself. So what is there? So initial part, whatever we receive the response in our instruments, that is related to the wellbore effect and the skin around the wellbore. Okay, so then what is a compressible zone? Compressible zone actually a zone which actually giving you the main response for the pressure behavior. So if we just see, so here you see this is Q by QB. QB is the reservoir volume and Q is the surface volume. So it wants one is, that means the production which you are taking is completely supported by your reservoir. That means that part has been taken. Okay. So if I take a specific time, so in this graph, time is fixed. So what is happening, if you see, this part has been completely taken part in the total flow. That means the near to the wellbore up to this area, or maybe you can consider the dotted area up to R1, the reservoir has supplied totally to the flow. And beyond R2 dash, the reservoir has not taken part in this flow. Okay, so on the flow profile, it can be seen that between the wellbore and R1, so this is the distance right from the wellbore, the flow rate has almost the same value near the wellbore. So the one means your reservoir has been taken the complete production, or maybe it is supported fully. Darcy law applicable microscopically in this area. There is a negligible flow to the area beyond R2. That means beyond this, you see the this value is 0, that means no flow from this area has been considered for this specific time flow. Okay, so the pressure drop between R2, okay, will be and infinite is not there. So beyond R2 there is no pressure drop, and this part has already considered for the flow in the earlier cases, so that's why this part is also not responsible. Okay, so if I just go for the second, so now you see this is T and this is T dot time, the same. That means what we have discussed in the early time, the first graph. So pressure pulses is moving, so that means pressure pulses is moving as well as the flow, the contribution of the flow from that specific area is also moving. So if I consider right from here to here, this is called the compressible zone. That means the through the area located between well and R1, and there is a flow close to QB, but that means that area has already been contributed for the flow. And beyond this area, R2, the area located beyond R2 dot is not yet involved in the flow. So you can see the zero flow from the reservoir. So this is a reservoir volume I'm considering. So beyond this area, it has not taken part. So this part has already contributed for the flow. This part has not taken for the flow. So whatever Q we are getting, okay, so the area beyond located is not, so the pressure drop between R2 and the infinite distance remain negligible. So the pressure drop for this part is negligible, and this part has already contributed, so it is not also contributing to this flow. So if I just sum it up, so you can understand, so between T and T dot, the pressure, this time, these two time, the pressure drop between an infinite distance and the wellbore is therefore mainly due to what is occurring between R1 and R2 dot. Okay, so this is a very clear indication or understanding. That means when we are producing from a well, this part is not contributing to the pressure response, and this part is not contributing to the pressure response. Why? Because this part has already supplied the material for this earlier production time, and this part has not yet taken part in the flow. So that means it is in the that's why the pressure response of that specific time is only responsible for this compressible zone, behavior of the compressible zone. So what is happening? It is in the area that the reservoir compressibility allowing the flow to go from 0 to QB. So you can understand. So in this compressible area, the reservoir compressibility allowing the flow go from 0 to QB comes into play. So this area is the compressible zone. So the pressure drop at the well, since the initial pressure is equal to the pressure drop between an infinite distance and the well. So what is the concept? That means when we are producing from a well, with time, actually the compressible zone is moving away from this wellbore, and that compressible zone actually supporting our flow of that specific time. So that means the physical nature of that compressible zone actually responsible for the pressure behavior of our well, which we are recording in our instruments or electronic memory gauge. Okay, so this is a very important concept. So you just so the pressure drop in a well mainly reflects the reservoir property in the compressible zone. So this is ultimate concept in physically. So what is happening? That means if you just visualizing when we start taking production, so initially the flow will be from the wellbore tank or wellbore storage material. Then the compressible zone will slowly move from the wellbore to the skin, or maybe the sand face is now encountering the flow from the reservoir. Then it will slowly flow up, the compressible zone will reach to your normal reservoir. Then with time maybe it will reach to the boundary. That means whenever we are recording our pressure, so initially it will be giving us particularly the wellbore storage and skin, what is the skin around the wellbore or wellbore surrounding environment. Then it will move to normal reservoir area, and then slowly it will move to a boundary. That means if we perform our test for a longer period, that means right from the wellbore and up to your boundary, we could understand what is the physical nature. That means the flow behavior, flow pattern, fault, connectivity, then parallel fault, you have a sealing fault, semi-sealing fault, every sort of behavior could be understood through the, okay, so that what enables the well test to characterize the average properties far away from the well, permeability, example, detect facies homogeneities. You have understood one sandstone has been modified to a silly sandstone in a normal reservoir. So that means what? Your permeability has decreased. Permeability decrease means your flow will not be properly there. So that's why you could understand the permeability barrier. So that means a well test will enable us to understand lot more feature, geological feature in terms of the connectivity or permeability. So that's why well test for a geoscientist or engineer, this is a very important tool which will give us the information, dynamic information around the live well when we are performing our test. Okay, so this is what this mathematical part I will come afterwards. Okay, so the concept of compressibility zone is used to locate the reservoir area that is in fact infected by the flow perturbation in the practical way. So what is happening? That means what I given you an analogy, the ripple marks when we drop a stone in a pond or well, water. So the ripple marks is moving. Similarly, when we start taking production from a well or allowing it to close, that means the pressure pulse will move. That is actually the compressible zone, and the compressible zone behavior we are recording actually in our pressure gauge. Okay, so that means it would be inaccurate to treat the pressure perturbation in terms of propagation and define a propagation velocity. In fact, the perturbation is diffused rather than propagated in the medium. So that's why this concept is very much important for understanding our interpretation. So this is one part which I try to put it in a single slide. You could understand simultaneously we are producing from a well. Okay, so the pressure pulses is moving in a sequential manner with T1, T2, T3 time. That is, as you progress your study, the pressure pulses will move away in a different rate of propagation, and that actually, so what is that? That means this area has been now considered to be the area compressible zone. So with time, the compressible zone will move away. That means as your pressure is perturbation is moving away from your wellbore, similarly your compressible zone, that is the information actually we are trying to gather. So radially what is happening from the right, from the center, so we are actually the pressure pulse is moving away, and when it is reaching to the boundary, it will give us the information also. So that means the pressure signal is very important for understanding the dynamic property around the wellbore. Okay, so this is the physical concept what I try to convey. Now we'll discuss a little bit of mathematics. So how this part is related to our mathematical formulations. As I have discussed in the last class also, so you can have a little idea. Okay, so so partial differential equations of the diffusivity equation is look like this, a double derivative. Okay, so what we have some field values. So standard field values are permeability, millidarcy, your distance in foot, then pressure in the generally psi, time t in hour, fluid viscosity in centipoise, and total compressivity pi inverse 1, and porosity in the fraction. So this is the diffusivity equation where we have two important parameters. So if you see, this total value could be put in eta form, eta 1 by eta in dp by dt. So this is partial diffusive derivative or partial derivative in diffusivity equation. So when eta is called the hydraulic diffusivity, so what that means, we are considering the flow is in the diffusion form from the air from the reservoir. So this diffusivity equations or this hydraulic conductivity can be separated in two ways, that is your transmissivity and storativity, TR. And so this is TR, you can see here, this is storativity, phi CTH, and this is transmissivity KH by mu. So once you divide your eta parameters, or you can hydraulic diffusivity, it can be of two parameters, transmissivity and diffusivity. Okay, so once we, so now in order to obtain a universal solution, so this partial diffusivity equations will be generally for solutions we try to use different universal term actually. Okay, so what are the universal term? If you see, these are the dimensionless parameters. So once this, because whatever we discuss, the field unit are in different units, but once you want to solve it in universal solution, you generally Hertz and Everdingen, two scientists, they have actually come down to a parameters which are dimensionless parameters. So whatever field units are there, you can convert into the dimension parameter, which are nothing but the ratio. So RD is the wellbore dimensionless radius is R by RW. So this is R is the your reservoir radius right from your wellbore, any radius, and RW is the wellbore radius. TD is the dimensionless time which is related to our T, normal T, which is the field unit, in general hour we generally consider. And PD is the pressure, dimensionless pressure with respect to any specific radius and time. So that is related to your pressure drop, PI minus P. P means your wellbore pressure which you are recording or which you are recording at a specific time. Okay, so this is what the dimensionless parameters. And once we just see the same thing, just you can see this is the diffusivity equation, same what we have discussed. This is eta, which is hydraulic conductivity. If you change all the parameters in dimensionless form, so your formulations diffusivity equation in dimensionless form would be this. Okay, so this dimensionless form of the diffusion equation is essential, as a single solution can be used for application of different porosity, permeability, and fluid property. So what you could understand the physical concept behind the well testing. Now the mathematics. So this is actually the mathematics, which is actually diffusivity equations which we use for our solution, getting the actual quantitative value for different parameters for the reservoir. So several slightly different solutions of dimensionless diffusivity equations are presented in the petroleum literature. So for the importance are actually what Lord Kevin's point source, phase solutions, and continuous line source solution. So that means different way people try to solve it, and many cases they are coming to more or less similar when your parameters are basically within a specific range. So okay, so this is a higher mathematics. So to solve it for a constant rate well with a vanishingly small radius RW, that means wellbore radius tends to 0 in an infinite system, the continuous line source solution to the diffusivity equation in the dimensionless form is this. So what this is an exponential integral. So exponential integral actually is an expansion, just like your different series, Taylor series, okay, or maybe different series expansion. So that is generally used for solving it. So as you know, for different solving, because you see T and RD with time from away from a wellbore is continuously changing. So two variable is there. So that's why people use different transformation. That means this R and T has been converted to X. So this X is nothing but the ratio of the two radius and time. Okay, so using this formulation actually people try to solve in the line source solution. So before going into solution part, or what actually assumption or approximation we take for the solutions, for solving it we generally consider or assume a reservoir to be a single phase, the reservoir having these different properties. What are the properties? The fluid having single phase liquid with constant mu C and formation volume factor. Then formation with constant porosity and age. We know porosity is not homogeneous throughout the reservoir, but for the sake of solving this formula equations, we consider the thickness of the reservoir as well as the porosity of the reservoir is constant. Well completed over the entire sand thickness. If you remember, we discussed about one part is called skin. Sometimes due to partial penetration or maybe the small part of the whole thickness completion, we got some sort of skin. But here what we are considering, the whole thickness has been perforated and completed. So infinite reservoir counting only one well. Actually we have so many wells in the reservoir, but for consideration of the solution for these equations, we consider infinite reservoir containing only one well. Okay, that means whatever reservoir volume is there, only one well is getting the support. Okay, for the uniform pressure in reservoir prior to production. So what we consider the pressure before the production is uniform, there is one pressure. Constant production rate, but we generally could not follow the constant production rate due to so many problems. Okay, and homogeneous reservoir. So with this assumption, we generally solve our exponential integral function of the diffusivity equation by line source solutions. Okay. So this is the actual formulation. P means at any pressure at any time and radius the pressure. That means the pressure recorded in our instrument or in our electronic memory gauge, which is reflection of a specific compressible zone with a specific time or maybe. Okay, so that is here with the exponential integral, and exponential integral is X, which is related to your T, R and T. that means in dimensionless for r square by 4kt, 4t generate. Okay, so the EI function solution to the diffusion equation assumes line source well. The solution is valid only for r greater than equal to rw. That means whatever just after the well bore radius, whatever we are getting, that could be solved with this diffusion equation. It predicts the pressure response in a reservoir as a function of both time and distance r from the center of the well bore. That means what, using this formulation we try to understand the pressure behavior of a specific reservoir right from the wellbore and from the wellbore. Okay, so that means it predicts the pressure response in a reservoir as a function of both time t and distance r from the center of the well. So this is what this diffusion equation could be solved. Now for different situation we just get the solution. So if you see, we could take an log approximation of the formulations what we discussed earlier or shown you, and this is the EI function. What is EI function? I'll just go in one slide. So this is EI function expansion. If you see EIX minus x is equal to A1 plus A2 ln x plus A3 ln x square plus A4 ln x cube plus A5. So what is there? This is a big basically expansion, very big expansion. So this expansion, so what we do, we have done one expansion this, and another is we take the log approximation. Okay, log approximation, you see this is the blue dot line is the log approximation of the same formulation, whereas if I take an EI expansion, this will follow this. So if you see this both the graphs, it would overlap, or it is overlapping up to x equal to 0.01. Okay, and it is vanishing after 3. Okay, more or less no value after 3. Now there is no value, it is matching with the 0 value both the cases. Okay, so the AX is, so what in two cases, so one, X is large. When X will be large, either your time should be very small or your R should be very large. That means your short times test or maybe large distance test, then when your pressure pulses move far away from your wellbore, that time we got a large X. Long time, that means long time you test and short distance. So that means when the X value for different T and R values, we can get two extreme, above 10 or above up 3. Okay, so pressure response predicted by EI function is negligible. So if EI function, that means what is there, the physical part is, once your X is very large, that means either you are in a short time of your study, or if you are trying to understand the large distance of that specific time, that time your pressure pulse due to EI expansion, pressure change due to EI expansion formulations is neglected when X more than 10. For intermediate times, for long times, that means for small x, okay, for small x means 0.01 value, you see the EI function and log approximation having the same value. Okay, so this is what we can see. So may be calculated using logarithmic approximation. So this EI function expansion we could approximate by giving a logarithmic expansion. Okay, and in between we need to really apply the EI expansion for getting the proper value. So if I just sum it up in 3 slides, you can understand. So you have a short time approximation. So P means whatever P we are getting due to the well test, that is neglected effect up to that part. Okay, so that means in that case when X value is greater than 10, that time we could consider P equal to Pi. That means that part has not been affected in the pressure response due to the flow or due to the production. Okay, so at any given point in the reservoir, at significantly sufficiently early time, the pressure response is essentially negligible. That means away from your reservoir, that means the compressible zone actually has not yet reached that point. That's why P, whatever we discussed when we were discussing the compressible zone, that means beyond the compressible zone, if you try to understand, that time the pressure will be as if your initial pressure of Pi. Okay, so in the intermediate case, that means when the X value lying in between 0.01 and 3, 0.01 and 3, or maybe you can 10. So that time we have to use really the EI function expansion. So this is the EI function expansion. You can see it's a big expansion, is still continuing. So we have the tabulated formulations where you have the EI 000 x value 0.029. Okay, so here EI value, how do you calculate? Let's say in our case the x equal to 0.052. So in that case, you see here you have a 5. Okay, so here is a 5, 0.05. Then this is from 0.50, 51 and 52. So you are getting 2.431. So that means EI in that case you are getting this value. Okay, so this is how we expansion. Then in case of long time approximation, so in that case what? This is your when our x value less than 0.01. That time what we could get? We have to use this formulation. You see, this now is now EI has been removed and it has been approximated the log. So that means at any given point in the reservoir, at sufficiently late times, the pressure response is approximately logarithmic in time. Okay, so now that means what we could get from here. So if I just show you one diagram here. Okay, the early diagram actually. This diagram. Okay, so what is there? So you can understand now what is happening. So now for different situation we try to understand the pressure response with time. Okay, so pressure response with time, that means how the pressure is moving. So we discussed about the compressible zone, what is happening. So depending on our radius and time, so what we could just get the idea how the we could get our informations. Okay, so now you see this is what is the well testing. So this is pressure pulses is moving. So depending on our radius and time of study, we have to convert our x value, and then using the mathematical concept of the diffusivity equation, we try to find out the pressure. What is, we are recording the pressure with time, so that indirectly giving us actually in terms of diffusivity equation, that means in terms of our parameters, physical parameters. So what, these are the storativity and transmissivity. Okay, so now what is there, our mathematics, we have understood a bit mathematics, then we understand the physical nature. So what is actually happening when we are testing a well? So the pressure pulses is moving away from it. In which form? Actually in terms of production. Production means we are getting certain production from the compressible zone, and that compressible zone actually the tip of your the whole compressible zone is actually the tip of your pressure pulses. So that means at a specific time the pressure pulse we are recording in our instruments, which is we are keeping in the well, that is actually responding the supply of material for our production at the well. Okay, so that means in terms of storativity and transmissivity, that means that area, is the area sufficient to accommodate this much of volume? Is this area is very fine in terms of transmitting the material to the next flow? Okay, so that's why Q is proportional to del P. We have understood in our diffusivity equation as well as Darcy equation, normal small Darcy equation. So if your Q supply, which we are producing at the, or maybe we're producing at the well head, so if it has been not supplied properly by your compressible zone, then your pressure will decrease, because Q is proportional to P or P is proportional to Q. Q is, if not supplied, then your drop should be more to give you that much of flow. Okay, so that's why the pressure will be decreasing, and if supply is more, then your pressure will be increasing. So that is how the physical part will be properly interpreted to understand actually the flow. Okay, so this part, you see this all three diagrams are actually, this is pressure pulses moving, this is compressible zone moving, and this is actually a compressible zone moving in the plan form. So you could understand. So what we are getting, we are trying to understand the physical phenomena around the wellbore by doing our oil test with time. That may be of different nature, I already discussed. Okay, so this is, so now this formulation, so if you just see here, this is actually this formulation, this is what the eta form. Okay, so that means diffusivity equation, this eta is called a hydraulic diffusivity constant, which is the transmissivity and storativity. That means the material supplied through the compressible zone, if it is proportional to the Q which you are producing at that specific time from the well, then you will not get any pressure change. That means pressure will be constant. But if you are not getting, that means that compressible zone area, transmissivity and storativity, actually the physical nature of that the compressible zone area is actually reflected in your pressure response. So this is what I already discussed, and this is another part again. If I just give you this idea, okay, so this part. So what I already talked to you, so compressible zone, that means between T and T dot, the pressure drop between an infinite distance and the well is therefore mainly due to the what is occurring between R1 and R1 and this R2 dot. Okay, that means this part has already supplied material from the reservoir. This area has not yet taken part in the flow. That means only the compressible zone area is actually supplying for that specific Q production. Okay, so it is this area that the reservoir compressibility allowing the flow to go from 0 to QB. That means this part is not supporting any Q, this part has not yet supported. So that means this area actually a transition zone, or you can say compressible zone, which is actually supporting from 0 to Q. That means whatever production you are getting at the reservoir, that is supported. So the pressure drop at the well, since the initial pressure is equal to the pressure drop between the infinite distance of the well, so this the compressible zone is the main responsible area which is responsible for the pressure drop. Okay, so the pressure drop in the well mainly reflects the reservoir properties in the compressible zone. That means once we conduct a test, slowly what we are trying to get the physical nature of the well away from the well and up to the boundary, which would be giving us detailed information. Okay, so this is the advantage of a well test. Okay, so I just okay, so approximation I have discussed. So what all the mathematical formulas are generally used like this. So for small values of the x less than 0.0, the exponential integral functions may be approximated within less than 1% by logarithmic functions as follows. So whenever we have x value less than 0.01, we need to take the logarithmic functions. When okay, so and when we have the value 0.01 to 10 or you can 3, that time we need to really take the EI function expansion for our solutions. And when it is more than 10, then that time, that means that area is not affected due to voltage. That means the pressure is considered to be P is equal to PI, the initial pressure. So the line source solution is itself an approximation for the pressure behavior due to the finite radius wellbore in an infinite reservoir. So that means the line source solution, by taking different approximation for our different T and R value or R and T value, we could actually solve our diffusivity equation for our well test. So in well test analysis, the continuous line source solution is used as a fundamental building block to simulate a number of useful solutions for flow into wells from finite and semi-finite reservoir system by means of the principle of superposition. So for you people, so many complex situations may arise: parallel faults, intersecting faults. You may have support, may not have support. So different ways. So that means what we may have different types of plotting we use for our interpretation. maybe pressure versus time, maybe del P versus time, maybe pressure versus semi-log, means pressure versus log time, then pressure versus, so different way we try to plot our pressure study with time, and then we try to get the characteristic graph locations of the distance, and from that we try to characterize our reservoir. Where is the Wilbur storage effect, where is the skin effect, where is actually infinite acting reservoir domain, then where is the boundary, if you have a fault, ceiling fault, parallel fault. That means every sort of information you could properly gauge with the help of a well test analysis. So if I just sum it up, so we have discussed, so dimensionless parameters, so RD is R by RW, TD is this, okay, PD, and this is the dimensionless formulations of our pressure with the exponential integral. So combining all these equations, this is our main equations, okay, and what depending on your R and depending on your T we have discussed. So this is actually the X. By solving our X for different approximation, if value is 0.01, we need to take the logarithm approximation, which I wrote it here. If it is between 0.01 and 10, then we go for EI expansion real, and if it is more than 10, then P is considered to be PI. Okay, so this is what in our most of the cases in well test we use. So most of the cases we will be using or looking at these formulations, how different form we try to plot and characterize our specific type of reservoir flow. That means it may be a Wilbur storage effect area, till now it may be a skinned area, it may be your normal infinite acting reservoir domain, or you may have a different types of flow behavior. That means ceiling fault, semi-ceiling fault, parallel fault, fractured reservoir. So different way. And now initially we just try to find out the straight line domain, but with time things have changed. Okay, so we use the different polynomial function and trying to understand the slope and get our well test data analyzed. Okay, so this is what for today's discussion. Hopefully we'll in subsequent class, and we'll discuss further regarding the diagnostic block and the interpretation methods.